Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Daily Thread.
Nice to see you again.
Yes, how you feeling?
I'm feeling fine.
Yeah.
Much better, yeah.
Feeling okay? Okay, good. Baruch
Yeah,
Hashem.
you know, stuff's flying around and, you catch a little bit of bug here and there, but you have to just gut it out.
Okay, so I don't even have my phone on me. So
Oh, my God. How are we going to do this, you know?
Right there. Got it. Got my phone. Okay, so really, first of all, let's do what we do first. Let's go ahead and dive into the inbox because a lot of feedback came overnight, and we want to make sure that we're reading these messages. Okay, this message is from someone in Muncie. I just listened to your podcast. I look forward to it every day. So about women in Judaism, I don't get why women should feel like second class. I really think they must have seen that growing up. I grew up seeing my father adore and cherish my mother. He still does, Baruch Hashem. My brothers, the same to their wives. My husband makes me feel like the most important part of our family unit, and he expresses that to our children and all the people all the time. The people who complain are the ones who are unhappy in general and spread their unhappiness. I'm not by any means yeshivish, and it doesn't bother me that women aren't in magazines. And about chocolate pudding, the next time your parents go to Deanie and Muncie, our daughter, your daughter, not mine,
My daughter, your sister,
my sister, I'll send some over.
Oh, listen, I don't know why people are making a big deal out of chocolate pudding,
I think everyone just wants you to get your pudding.
Let me just say, from that chocolate pudding from when I was a very young kid, you learned a lot in life about that chocolate pudding. First of all, it was Thursday nights usually, and it was very little cup. It was like a green glass cup. Okay, and like chocolate underneath and like a shell on top, okay? And it was never enough. It was very little. So you learned a lot about life, about the good things in life. They're very good, but you have to make them last longer.
Lessons from chocolate pudding.
That's right. Listen, they can learn from everything that happens in life. And now that we brought that up after 50 years or maybe more.
Bring it back.
Yeah.
Feedback, another message. Woman in the frum world, let's look into Torah. What does Hashem say the role of a bas melech is? The idea that we are second class is influenced by society and not by the Torah, not by the Torah perspective. If a bas melech truly knows her tafkid in this world and is settled inside with true menuchas nefesh, she wouldn't feel that way. So that's the pulse of the public when it comes to that topic. But as we go forward, we're going to speak about something else, something very interesting. Maybe people like sports, and maybe the women who are listening don't like sports. Maybe they do, but it's not even a story about sports I'm about to bring up. It's something just funny that happened last night. Obviously, everyone in New York, at least, knows Aaron Judge. Probably out of New York also. He's one of the best baseball players in the world. He was the American League MVP. He hit, the most home runs last year.
62 home runs.
Yeah.
He's an all-around great ball player, great outfielder, great arm.
And his nickname last night became Arson Judge.
Arson?
Arson Judge, because he lit Twitter on fire.
Ooh, okay.
What happened? So we're in midst of the Aaron Judge sweepstakes. Which team he's going to go to? He failed to sign a contract with the Yankees last year before the season, an extension. So it was open season. He could have gone to any team. So Aaron Judge was rumored by a baseball reporter. His name is John Heyman. He tweeted, Aaron Judge seems to be headed to the San Francisco Giants. And let me tell you, Twitter exploded. Tens of thousands of tweets within minutes, retweeted. Millions of people saw it. And just 5 minutes later, John Heyman took down that tweet. And he replied to it saying, hey, sorry, guys, I think I jumped the gun. The Giants have not yet heard from Aaron Judge.
Well, that wouldn't have been a popular move for the Yankees. They had to sign him, and as you know, they signed him. It was reported early this morning, I think, right?
They signed him for $360 million,
over 9 years. That's $40 million a year.
That's pretty good.
That's $769,000 a week.
A week.
Okay, in case you wondering, before taxes.
Yeah, but what's that? But you know what? San Francisco, the taxes are a lot worse probably.
Well, Aaron Judge gives the announcers and the sportscasters and the play-by-play announcers, especially in New York, and especially because there are so many Jewish Yankee fans, it gives them extra meaning when he hits a home run. John Sterling, who's the Yankee announcer, says, all rise, here comes the Judge.
Yeah.
Then around Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur, it's Judgment Day. If he hits a home run between Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, the back page of the Post is going to say Judgment Day. San Francisco, very, very few people are going to get it.
Right, so
but he needs to be in New York.
So Aaron Judge obviously is in New York, but I just want to let everyone know, John Heyman, this reporter in the MLB, is getting killed online because the Giant fans were so happy. They heard Aaron Judge is going to the Giants, And then just hours later, it's reported that he is not going to the Giants. And that's like the worst nightmare for a reporter. You know, they say you don't want to be the one that gets it first. You want to be the one that gets it right. Well, John Heyman was first and wrong. So
there's a big sweepstakes going on out there for Major League ball players in general, especially baseball at this time of year. And I remember, I guess it was in the 1960s or late 1960s, when Sandy Koufax, who we discussed on this program before, signed a ball player signed his first $100,000 contract.
Huh.
That was a lot of money in the 1960s. It may even be comparable to what Aaron Judge signed last night, but that was big news. You know, ball players didn't make the kind of money that they make today, although they say that in 1929, when there was a depression and everybody lost everything, Babe Ruth was playing then, and they say Herbert Hoover was the president when all the markets crashed and people were jumping out of buildings because they were doing so poorly. And they asked Babe Ruth. Babe Ruth was making, he was being paid $100,000 then. And the president of the United States, Hoover, was being paid $80,000 then. And they said to him at a news conference, Mr. Ruth, how do you feel making more money than the president of the United States? And he said, well, I had a better year than him.
That's a good line. That's a good line. But listen, don't you think it's interesting because people are like, wow, these baseball players get paid so much money, and there are important jobs in the world that people aren't getting paid, like teachers. The highest paid teacher is not getting anywhere near what probably the lowest level baseball player is receiving. But don't you think it's like maybe with Kollel, we should adopt this system that the person who's like best in Kollel that year gets like
to a long-term contract?
Yeah, like I want to see like a Shmuel Schiffenbauer getting like a 6 year.
I know the Schiffenbauers.
Oh, let's use a different name. I want to see like Yanko Lichtenstein getting a 6 year, $850,000 contract. Why? He answered the most cautious this year. He knew the run, the Ritva, the rush, the Taisvis. He knew a cold, and he's getting a long-term contract. You don't think it should go like that? I don't mean to mix two different subjects in, but it's already being done. You know, if you find if you get the right shidduch. Oh gosh, here we go again. You get a lifetime contract. Forget about how much you score. Forget about how many home runs you hit or how many rush buttons. That's such a terrible way to look at things, though. No, but I'm not. You're talking about some kind of dream for the future. I'm telling you the reality. I'm saying if we can have the same value system for our people who are sitting and learning all day as the society has for baseball players, let's like. But you know what? Maybe it does happen in a way. If you're like a really talented, you know, Kollel Yungerleit, you can get a really good rough job. A younger man. Yes, you can get a really good job as a Rav, but like that's what I'm thinking. Like, well, there are no maybe there should be a draft out of Kollel for shuls to draft Rabbanim. Well, yeah, I know. Yeah, it's a good idea, but it's not going to happen. First of all, professional ball players they're entertainers. You know, more than anything else, they're in the entertainment business. They put 50,000 people in the seats. And that's how you think Judge is being judged by how many home runs he hits. Of course he is too, but the cost accountants that work for the Yankees, how many seats do they sell? How many bodies he puts in those seats? Also, how many jerseys does he sell? How much merch does he sell? Right? Yeah. In the gift shop, the jerseys and the hats and the signed baseball. Well, it's one and the same. It's because he's hitting all those home runs. When he was on the cusp of hitting 62 home runs, the seats were filling up. So it's all really hand in hand. But I don't know. I have hope. I have hope for our teachers, our rebbeim, our moras, to maybe be in that system where, you know. You want a bonus system, huh? A bonus system. This teacher did so well this year, and they're getting a signing bonus. Well, you know, a teacher will tell you, anyone in education will tell you that they derive their satisfaction. They don't do it for the money. From something. No, they have to make a living, of course, but they derive their satisfaction and their fulfillment, I believe, from something greater than, how much they get paid in the course of the year. And they really are building future generations. Speaking about building future generations, this story comes from Yeshiva World. And Hachnas Sefer Torah in minus 18-degree cold weather. In what perhaps was the coldest Hachnas Sefer Torah in the history, Jews gathered last week in Novosibirsk, a Siberian city in southern Russia, to rejoice with a new Torah. The festive event began with Rav Shneur Zalman Zaklos, the chief rabbi of Novosibirsk. I'm going to pronounce that wrong, it's fine. Afterwards, despite it being minus 18 degrees Fahrenheit, the members of the Kehillah took to the frosty streets, warming themselves up by singing and dancing until they arrived at the Beis Menachem Shul. The new Sefer Torah was donated by Mr. Michael Heyman in memory of his father Yaakov Nayman, who was the main contractor for the city's Beis Menachem Shul.
So
I'll show a picture. They don't even look that cold. I feel like I look colder walking to shul when it's 30 degrees.
What's the name of the shliach there?
The name of the shliach is
I'm just wondering.
Rabbi Schneier Zalman Zaklos. He's the chief rabbi of Novosibirsk. I wonder if that's the shliach.
He's probably Israeli, or he's from Russia, maybe. It's it's interesting. People that we know in our family, their shlichus is usually in California or Florida, Arizona. How do these guys end up in Siberia?
Yeah, well, we have Chaim Shulbrook. He's in Montana.
He's on the front lines in Montana.
But Siberia is pretty.
Yeah. You really don't.
Shulchan in Mauritius. Shout out to my friend over there.
If you're in Siberia, it's because you don't know anybody,
right? You don't have any pull. But minus 18 degrees, Torah. Shout out to them.
Sacramento's nice. Woodland Hills, Encino. These are nice places.
Are they?
Like you said, Boca, Miami, Coral Springs.
So if you're looking to be a shliach, maybe
call Nachi. See what he
call
can
Nachi. Maybe we'll send you. I'll either send you to Siberia or I don't know,
or Sacramento.
A couple of days ago was the yard site of someone who played a huge role in both of our lives. His name is R Yaakov Nayman. We grew up davening at Rabbi Nayman's shul in Sutton Park. And I see Rabbi Nayman as sort of, he was like the last Rav in this community who was really connected to the previous generation.
Absolutely.
Post-Holocaust. He did not speak a word of English. Really, not a lot. I put on tefillin in Rabbi Nayman's shul. He helped me put on tefillin. And I think it's been 10 years. 10 years? Makes sense?
I spoke to one of his grandsons. I think it's a little more.
14 years?
Is it 14 already? Wow, I think maybe we skipped a couple of years. I heard it was 11 or 12. Yeah.
Rabbi Nayman used to get up and speak, especially Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur time.
He spoke very infrequently.
And the shul would just sit there, and I had no clue what he was saying because it was all in Yiddish. Right. But just seeing someone, he had like this Avram Avinu face, like this angelic old face with a white beard, and he was very small. And he just was it was a look of yesteryear.
He had a presence.
And
when you were in yeshiva, I used to go there to daven in the morning. You had an 8 o'clock menu.
I hate to break this to you, but I used to go with you because I never made davening in yeshiva.
Maybe I took you to yeshiva after the menu.
You did.
Sometimes.
So I literally went with you to that shul every single morning.
We have to have an episode one of these days about carpool.
About carpool? I think we're having it right now. Does your kid make the bus?
But Rabbi Nayman lived till he was 100.
Really?
11, 12 years ago, whatever it is. I remember very clearly on his 97th birthday, after Shacharis one morning, I went over to him and I asked him, what do you attribute your longevity to? You know, what's the key? What's the wisdom?
Secret sauce.
What's the wisdom behind living to 97 in those days? And he lived a few more years. He thought for a second. He said to me, you have to make sure people need you. If you make sure people need you, God's going to be good to you and give you years, and that's why he had the years that he had. I guess people needed him. We needed him.
That's great advice for people. Become needed. Do something that the world can't exist.
Make sure you do something that doesn't antagonize people or turn them off, but makes them whatever it is that you're doing for them or providing them with more.
Yeah,
you know?
I remember vividly, and I took a picture. I don't know if it was on phone or it was one of those cameras, those wind-up ones, Polaroids. What's it called?
Yeah, what is it? Instant picture?
So I don't know. One of those you wind it up.
It was many years ago.
Disposable camera.
I think it was the last. It was Birchas Achama, right?
So yeah, it was Birchas Achama, which happens once every 27 years.
Is it 27?
Once every 27 years.
Yeah, you looked it up.
I know it's once every 27 years.
Okay, if you say so.
And the last Birchas Achama that was
27 years ago. If you were there, you were 0 years old.
No, it must have happened like 16, 17 years ago.
Okay.
Possible. So we have another 10 years to go for the next one. Every 28 years? I was pretty close.
Yeah, very good.
I was pretty close, no?
Absolutely. It's close is good enough.
Close is good enough. But, so yeah, I had taken a picture of Rabbi Nayman doing Birchas Chama, which I really wish I could find.
Today, you're looking for it now?
I'm not. It's not on this phone.
Today, by the way, is December 7th. It's the birthday of my grandfather.
Oh.
Aaron Berger, my mother's father.
Mother's father.
I was thinking about it last night.
How old would he be right now?
He would be 136 if he was still alive today. He was born in, I think he was born in 1886.
Wow.
Someone had to be born in 1886.
How did it feel for you,
Not everybody was born in 1995.
I know, but how did it feel for you that, like, he was alive while you were alive,
Well,
obviously, and your grandfather was born in the 1800s.
That's right. All my grandparents were born in the 1800s.
That's crazy.
And there was a period there when I had a very special privilege of having 4 grandparents.
Anybody from the late 1700s?
No.
No?
1700s. Right. Maybe they were with Columbus in 1492.
No, I'm saying maybe you had a. Did you have a great grandparent that was born in like 1799 or something?
No. Maybe a great grandparent.
Not when you were alive.
I don't know. How do you do in the mathematicians? Not so good, huh? Not so good. Anyway, today.
1 second. 1886 he was born, right? Your grandfather.
Right.
86 years prior, his father, your great grandfather, your great grandfather must have been born in the 1700s.
Right. That's right.
Why is everyone like? Why am I? That's not crazy.
You wanted to know if I knew them. That's what you're asking.
Did you?
No.
Did you know of them?
Did you know them? No.
Did you see any pictures of them?
Know. I'll tell you what I know. I know they called
any drawings.
I know when they called my grandfather up to the Torah, it was Aaron Bereb Yosef.
So you knew his name was Yosef.
I know his name was Yosef.
But you didn't add.
And I'll tell you something. I'll tell you something else about Yosef Berger.
Yeah.
He lived till 103.
Wow, got good
He died in
genes.
1957. I remember that. That means he was born in.
One second.
He was born in 1854.
Okay, so your great grandfather was Yosef Berger.
Right.
Born in 1854.
Right.
His father was born in.
Could be in 1799. I don't know.
It was definitely before.
Okay, no, 54. Yeah, he could have been born in 1820 also, you know. Anyway, but so today's also Pearl Harbor Day, but it's also the day the Japanese, a day that Franklin Delano Roosevelt said, a day that will live in infamy. The Japanese Air Force attacked Pearl Harbor, and they weren't ready for the attack, and it was a great, immense loss of life. So I always remember December 7th for those two things, Pearl Harbor and my grandfather's birthday. And he lived till 1975.
1975.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I knew him as a young kid, and we spent a lot of time in his house and my grandmother's house, and they were really part of our upbringing because, as I've written about, my parents used to, starting in 1963, my parents went to Israel every summer for 6-7 weeks, and they left us, me and my younger brother Yossi, with my grandparents. So that was
shout out to Yossi.
It was memorable, also traumatic.
Yeah.
But Baruch Hashem, excellent memories, very warm memories, very fond memories. What else you got there?
So we have Doug Emhoff, who is having a roundtable with Jewish groups today.
He's the second gentleman.
He is the second gentleman. Doug Emhoff, the husband of good old Kamala Harris, who, for those who don't know, is the vice president, believe it or not. And Doug Emhoff, her husband, is Jewish, supposedly.
Yes, he is Jewish. He
has a full-blown Jew?
What?
He's a full-blown Jew?
I don't know. He's claims to be Jewish. He has a Jewish name. He's claiming to be Jewish. I don't know what his genealogy is actually about, but you never know these days, That's one of the big fights, by the way. You want to go deeper into Emhoff? Because one of the big arguments in Israel today between the religious parties and Netanyahu is
who's Jewish?
Whether they count. Up until now, they've been counting, if you had any Jewish grandparent, you counted as a Jew.
Even if it's a grandfather?
Even if it's a grandfather.
That's problematic.
Now, the rights that people voted in, they would like to change that. They've been warned by the American Jewish community, by leaders in the American Jewish community, not to tamper with it. Don't mess around with it. Leave it alone. Sometimes it is what it is. Sometimes you got to leave it alone because it will cause a big stir and a big problem potentially. I'll tell you something else also, as long as we're on the subject of Israel. I was just reading while I was waiting for you that American Secretary of State Anthony Blinken was a speaker at J Street. You know what J Street is?
No.
J Street is like a liberal version of AIPAC, American Israel Public Affairs Committee. And so J Street's very liberal, pro-two-state solution, pro-Palestinian state, very anti-religious in many ways. And believe it or not, the Secretary of State of the United States, who claims to be Jewish, by the way, because his father's a Jew, by the way, just on the same subject. I don't know about his mother. But one of the things he said in his speech to J Street, he warned Israel. What do you think he warned them about? Don't change the policy on the Temple Mount. Do not allow Jewish prayer on the Temple Mount. That's what they're worried about. They're worried that some Jews are going to go up to the Har Bayis and they're going to daven. And that's going to bring the world to a screeching halt. That's what the Secretary of State, the number one foreign service officer of the United States of America, is concerned about.
Well, shame on you. And as we wrap up this episode, this just in from Balazs News. The number one richest person in the world, a family, well, Elon Musk, has just taken a second place.
To
Bernard Arnault and family at $185.4 billion. Elon Musk, obviously from Tesla, SpaceX, now Twitter, is $185.3 billion.
Well,
number 4 in that list is Jeff Bezos at $111.5 billion, and Warren Buffett is number 5 at $107.0 billion. Number 3 is Gautam Adani, who's at $134 billion.
Didn't Musk have like over $200 billion till he?
I thought Rechnitz was number 1. What?
Till he bought Twitter. He spent $44 billion on Twitter.
I don't know. Maybe.
I mean, I know there was financing involved and so on. Speaking of Elon Musk, he was in the running to be the Time Magazine Man of the Year.
Yeah, but guess who became the Time Magazine Man of the Year this morning?
I'm bringing it up because I know who became the Time Magazine.
Yeah, who became the Time Magazine?
Vladimir Zelensky.
Really interesting, no?
I don't know. I think Elon Musk would have deserved it. I think.
Really.
Instead of Zelensky. I mean, Zelensky. I mean, they're getting beaten to a pulp by the Russian military. The country is in tatters, but they never had so much money in their life.
Person of the Year.
They're getting
You saw that meme that's going around. It's actually pretty funny. I want to show it over here. But there's a meme going around that one second. There's a meme going around. I'll put it on the screen. It shows U.S. Department of Defense, $2.2 trillion missing. The government, hold. FTX, $10 billion missing. Hold. $20 billion missing in Ukraine. Hold. Your $601 transaction on Venmo, now go get them. Because, now we know anything over $600 on Zelle, on Venmo, is going to become taxable. There's $20 billion missing in Ukraine. FTX, $10 billion.
One of the things the Biden administration is concerned about, that when the Republicans take over the House, they're going to do oversight. They're going to want an accounting.
It's a lot of money.
Where did the money go? I know where the money went.
Hunter,
Zelensky, and Joe.
It's
in their accounts.
The big three.
All you have to do is check their deposit slips.
Maybe we can head into Chase Bank right now and check it out.
Maybe they're in Chase. Maybe they have their own bank.
Maybe. Well, if you want to hear more news and stories throughout today, go ahead and follow the Daily Thread on Instagram, or go ahead and sign up for our WhatsApp account. We have statuses throughout the day, exclusive stories, comments, thoughts, ideas. The link is in the show notes in the description. Hit that link. If you enjoyed this episode, please leave a rating, a review, and share it with your friends. Any final words for today?
It's a great show once again, and looking forward to more tomorrow.
All right, we'll see you guys tomorrow. Adios.